to the Adventure of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
If you know who I am, well, I was there and I saw what you did. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. So you can wipe off that grin. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies. I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with
Keith Wallen.
Nice, here on Shiprocked. So,
We're here.
Tell me, how many times have you been on Shiprocked?
So this makes 4 for me. Did it once with Breaking Band in 2017. And then the last 3 years in a row, it's been myself with the Stowaways and of course, me with my solo band. It's funny, they introduced me on the mic, getting up the stage. They're like, all right, everybody, big hand for Keith Wallen from Breaking Benjamin and Keith Wallen. And I was like, yeah, if they know, but if they don't, they're like, what? So
Right?
It's pretty funny.
And, you know, it's pretty wild. I love the whole Stowaway thing. Like, okay, so I'm an 80s teenager, metalhead, and
The best era of music, in my opinion.
100%. Like, I grew up in Jersey, but my dad moved me to California, to L.A. in 1980. If you
Okay.
can imagine, that was the perfect time
Yeah, man.
to move to L.A. and be in the metal scene.
For sure.
It's so cool to watch you guys last night all performing songs that the frickin' gatekeepers of my time would have never approved of.
That's awesome, man. That was the kind of the more pop set too. I think the next Stowaway set tomorrow night is going to be more like the metal side of things. So that'll be interesting.
Well, Tom told me one of my favorite all-time ever songs you're doing tomorrow night. Well, not you specifically, but just the Stowaways.
Yeah.
Whiplash.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I'm very excited about that. But last night was cool because it's not in your world. We were talking beforehand, and you were like learning songs and practicing. And if you're doing your own genre, your own songs, you wouldn't have had to work that hard to be prepared.
Sure. I will say though, "In the Air Tonight" is my favorite song of all time. And when they asked me to do that, I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
And you
Like, let's do it.
freaking nailed it. 'Cause
Thank you.
I was like, I turned to whoever I was with. I was like, man, that kind of sounds like Phil Collins.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm a big fan, so I knew the words at least to that one.
And how does it feel to be an artist to go out there and play that kind of music that you don't normally play? I would imagine that's really fun because it's out of the box of what you have to do every day.
100%. I think you nailed it. It is so far removed from the day job, but that's what makes it fun. You know? It's just cool. I mean, and I'm an 80s kid too. You know, I was born in 1980. So I think back to just like being a kid and my older brother like waking up for high school and just like turning on his stereo and hearing like Tears for Fears and hearing like, you know, Thompson Twins and all the 80s hits. And I loved it from then on out, and I still do. So, yeah, it's been fun.
Well, it's funny. One of my friends now who I've interviewed a few times is Josie Cotton. And then the first time I interviewed her and met her, I'm like, you know, in the 80s, I wasn't allowed to like your music. But I secretly did. So it's cool that 40 years later, I'm interviewing you about your music.
That's so cool.
And I love that we're like that today, that we're more open, and the gatekeepers are very minimal nowadays because you're an artist. You don't just like one type of music. As a listener, I don't just like one type of music.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And, you know, lots of artists, they don't like to create one type of music. It's fun to make all kinds of different production and sounds for everything, different genres. Yeah, it's nice that we're not as much, you know, forced to be in a box.
You know, it's funny you should say that because I love what Ollie from Bring Me said in an interview one time because they were giving him so much flack for doing all this different type of music recently. And he's like, why do I want to write the same song over and over again?
Yeah, that's it. He's got a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
you want to change it up.
Exactly.
It's
So
like my hair. I'll dye my hair blonde every once in a while. You got to change it up.
Well, it's funny you should say that because I do change up my hair a lot. Like, it's blue a lot of the time.
Hell yeah.
But I was like, yeah, I'm going on a cruise. I don't think blue's a good idea because the minute I get in the water, it's gone. And it is 80s themed, so I'm going to do something I wasn't allowed to do when I was a teenager. I'm going to go with kind of like the new wave hair look.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Flock of seagulls. Let's go.
I know. I actually, it's so funny you should say that because I said to her, like, yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do a Flock of Seagulls one. And it was so funny because I actually covered a festival they were playing at.
Oh, really?
And I told my bro, I'm like, from back in the day, I was like, yeah, I can't believe I thought I made it my whole life without being at a Flock of Seagulls show, but I'm here. But it was great.
You.
But it was great. And it was the type of thing like, wow, I'm allowed to do this because you weren't back then.
Right.
So what else you got going on for 2025?
This is a busy year for me. I'm on tour right now with a band called 10 Years.
Yeah.
And we're both on the boat. So we pick back up after we get off of Shiprocked, and we got another 2 weeks, I guess, to finish out the tour. And then I got some time. I'm going to do some recording with Breaking Benjamin. We've got a Breaking Benjamin tour in the spring. Then the summer, we've got some stuff going on. I think in the fall, there's some stuff going on. And then after that, I have another Keith Wallen solo tour to round out the year. And, my year is done. It's in the books. So
nice.
We'll see.
So for the listeners that only know you from Breaking Ben, describe to them your solo project.
Let's see. You ever been starving, just like really, really hungry, and someone just serves you a nice, fresh, hot, melty, cheesy pizza, and you take that first bite? It's just like that.
Nice. That's the feeling I had, Tuesday night at about midnight here on the ship. I went to the 24-hour pizza place.
Oh, I'm a mainstay.
Right?
Yeah, you can ask my friend Courtney. I'm like, pizza? She's like, no, not again.
It's good pizza, too. I was shocked. Listen, I'm from New York and New Jersey. I'm a pizza Nazi, okay?
Oh, yeah, you do know pizza for sure.
And I ate that. I'm like, this is freaking real pizza.
It hits the spot.
Oh, yeah. It's great. I was looking for it last night. I was like, I got to do that again.
Oh, yeah. No, it hits the spot. But to seriously answer your question, it's hard rock. It's melodic. I try my best to sing. And I feel like fans of Breaking Benjamin can appreciate it. A lot of different influences. I've always loved Metallica, and there's a little 80s flair in there. But there's some modern stuff for sure. But, yeah, I feel like it fits right in there with everything they play on Octane, and they actually played one of my songs
nice
on Octane in the spring. I had a single called Headspace Holiday, and they had it on there for like 3 months or something. So, yeah, it's been good and just incredible support from all the different stations and satellite radio and all this stuff. So, yeah, just hard modern rock, I guess.
And I love when artists like you do your side projects, solo projects, things like that, because being a musician, being an artist is about creativity, experimentation, and I think by doing different things, that gives you the ability to do that.
For sure. I play guitar and Breaking Band and sing harmony, so it's definitely a challenge to be a front man. It puts me out of my comfort zone, but I just love it. I live for it. And I tell people this all the time. They ask me, why would you do it? Because you've already got a band and you're pretty busy. And I mean, number one, why not? And then number two is I know there's going to be a time where I'm just too old and got arthritis or whatever, and my voice doesn't work, and I'll be like, man, I should have played more shows.
Right.
So I'm getting it while the getting's good.
There you go. And I think it makes you feel better as a band member because, like, even Hetfield and Lars recently talked about that with Jason, and maybe they should have allowed him to do that
100%,
type of thing,
100%. I mean, obviously, hindsight's 20/20, but there's no way that anything that Jason would have done was going to affect the monster that Metallica is.
Exactly.
And just like anything I do, it has no bearing on Breaking Benjamin whatsoever. And Ben, for the record, he is like my biggest champion.
I love that.
He's behind me so much, and it's just been amazing. I mean, honestly, that makes me just love playing with Breaking Benjamin even more. The fact that he supports me so much.
That's the key right there.
It's just been great.
That's what you think of. Like, if you're Ben, I think you got to think of you're going to be happier, so you're going to perform better in Breaking Ben.
Yeah.
by being able to have an outlet for things you want to do that may be different.
For sure. If things go well, it only helps everything else. You know, if Breaking Ben's taking time off and I'm doing some stuff and there's still a little bit of
Keeps
mentioning,
you fresh.
yeah,
too.
it's cool. So I mean, from the get-go, Ben has just been an amazing leader of a band and so supportive, and it's just been great. I mean, it's 10 years now that I've been in the band, and I mean, it's gone by in a flash. So that just proves that we're all having a lot of fun. So,
and that's key, because if you're not having fun in this business, it's the wrong business, right?
It sucks. I've definitely been there where I'm like, this is miserable.
And people don't realize, like, they always say things because they look at your socials or look at whatever you're doing. They're like, oh, you're living the dream life, you know, but they don't see all the things that go along with that dream life. Yeah.
There's a lot of sacrifice. I mean, it's like, you know, what Steve Perry and Faithfully, you know, loving a Music Man ain't always what it's supposed to be, because you're gone.
Yeah.
You are gone, and you're living out of a suitcase and stuff, but you get used to it. I knew from a young age I never wanted to have, it's just a regular 9 to 5, and this is it. I'm doing it.
There it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, I got to say, too, is that the fact of what you said before about being a front man, because you're not used to that, I bet you it makes you a better musician and player in Breaking Ben, because you have a little more of that, for lack of a better way of putting it, confidence of being in that role.
For sure. When I get back in Breaking Ben, I'm just like, this is nice. I don't have to sing all that, you know? Yeah, it's a little easier. It's a little less on the plate. So I'm like, all right, this is cool. So
there you go.
You hit it, for sure.
Well, I love that you're here on Shiprocked. You killed it last night.
Thank you, man.
I can't wait for tomorrow night, because that's going to be badass, too.
It'll be fun.
And thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Dude, thank you for having me, man.
My pleasure.
Hey, this is Keith Wallen from Breaking Benjamin. You're listening to Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.